Hello and welcome to another Project Falcon Punch Top 5 of 2017. I'm your host Dan, and with me today I have Jack.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Jack, or Jacob, or Jake, whatever you want to call me. I got like a lot of names.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's like, since last year you've actually, you got a new channel like, from your previous one.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy. I don't know, I kind of wanted to move away from Let's Plays, so I created a separate channel called Jakstalgia, where I create like review type videos and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, as the name would imply, a lot of nostalgia-based sort of videos.
Yeah, because that's like one of my favorite things to do is to look back on like old stuff and just kind of reminisce. And I don't know, it's fun. I have fun doing it. If you feel like you'd enjoy that kind of stuff, check it out.
How has 2017 been for you then?
Especially compared to like past years, it was a really good year. I got to go over to the UK again, which is really fun. I got to go to my first kind of convention, I guess. Do you know what Summer Games Done Quick is?
Yes.
So I got to go to that, and I got to meet up with a lot of Twitch streamers and YouTubers that I only knew online. Hang out with them for a week. So that was like super fun. I've been busy this year.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and Jack, do you want to kick it off with what your number 5 game is on your list?
My number 5 is a small game. It's a 2D game. It's Bubsy, the Woolly Strike Back. No, not really. It's my number 5 is Cuphead. I was super surprised I enjoyed Cuphead as much as I did because I went into Cuphead actually not knowing that much about the game. I honestly was just expecting another 2D platformer similar to like Mega Man and stuff, but it's not really just that. It's a boss rush, and I started playing it. I was like, wow, it's just a bunch of bosses. This isn't what I expected at all, and it like ended up like blowing me away.
When I first saw it, the whole thing was just boss rushes, and I thought, oh, I kind of prefer the sort of 2D side-scrolling stuff when it comes to those sort of like shmups. But actually having played the game, the bosses are like the bread and butter of that game.
Like you said, I prefer the bosses over the 2D platformer stages, and I thought it'd be the other way around going into it, but that's not the case.
Game is deceivingly hard if you look at its aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, there's just so many things to like about it. The challenge behind it, there's a lot of replayability, and then of course the whole aesthetic and the music, and it's just it's a good game.
I love the way that everything bounces. Like they've nailed that aesthetic from the 30s.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that they were actually able to pull it off, because I don't know if you know how long hand-drawn animation takes.
A long time.
It takes a while.
Would you say you played this more in single player or co-op?
Completely single player. You kidding me? I don't got any friends.
That's not true.
I want to try multiplayer though, but I heard multiplayer kind of can be a little chaotic, so.
I played the majority of this game through with a friend. It can be easier, but if you work together, if you sort of like, if you're in sync with each other, you think it can actually be easier. But like you say, it comes so chaotic because there's so many bullets flying on the screen, it comes actually really hard to sort of keep track of everything.
Definitely deserves a place in my top 5.
Yeah. What have you got as your number 4 then?
My number 4 is kind of weird that I rated it, or this low on my list, I guess. But my number 4 is Breath of the Wild, actually.
Okay.
I feel like most people would rate it higher. I mean, in one game of the year at the Game Awards. But the thing about Breath of the Wild for me is I think it's like one of the best experiences in gaming out there. It's just a wonderful experience exploring the world and everything. But as a game, I think it has a lot of flaws. Like the weapon system is kind of janky, I guess, how weapons can break so easily. The shrines feel like so
segmented,
not connected to the actual game. You feel so restricted in them, and they're so short. And as an experience, it's beautiful.
If you can pick out a favorite moment, what would your favorite moment be?
My favorite moment is the moment where the game just kind of clicked with me. Because when I first started playing the game on the Great Plateau, honestly, I wasn't too into it. I was like, oh, there's nothing to do here, really. It's obviously just a boring tutorial. But the moment when, spoiler alert, you find out that the old man is the king of Hyrule, and he's like, you gotta go on this big adventure, and he's like explaining the whole game to you, and I'm like, oh my god.
It is definitely like where the game pretty much just takes off those, like, I don't even think of them as shackles, because Nintendo games have always sort of pushed you down this like pathway, and I guess this is what it does at the beginning, and all of a sudden it just goes, yeah, go and do what you want. Your next objective is defeat Ganon, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. It's the moment that the game just takes off the shackles, quote unquote. Gives you free reign to the world. That's definitely my favorite part of the game. The DLC was kind of disappointing, but...
yeah, I didn't like the DLC either. I thought I was kind of disappointed with that. Alright, and Jack, what have you got down for your number 3?
My number 3, I honestly thought would be my game of the year, but but after letting it, brew a little bit and let me think about it for a little bit, I don't think I can put it at my number 1. So it's my number 3, and it's A Hat in Time, which I think you just played recently.
I have just been playing it recently. I'm currently only up to chapter 4, the Alpine level.
That's my favorite level. I love Alpine. But me and this game have like quite the history because I've been following it since the Kickstarter first launched. I backed the game. I was super excited for it. At one point, it seemed like it was never going to come out, but it finally came out, and I loved it. It's just so cute. There's so much character put in the game and so much creativity put into it, but it kind of lacks in sustenance, and there are points in the game where it kind of feels, I don't want to say unfinished, but there are parts of the game that definitely could have been polished more.
Yeah, the camera is definitely the biggest issue for me.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. But when you take into account that this game only had like a $200,000 budget,
it has got a lot of polish though, the way it feels. Like the way you actually like hack kids like controls, it clicks so quickly, and you end up landing so many platforms so precisely with just like a double jump, a dive, and an extra little jump to sort of like stop you and precisely land.
Yeah, like I'm not a speedrunner by any means, but I feel like if I ever were to speedrun a game, this would be one of the most fun like games to speedrun, just because of how fluid the controls are and how fast you can actually move Hat Kid if you actually know what you're doing with the controls.
Yeah. The other thing I like as well is it isn't just a 3D collectathon platformer. Like the first level kind of is that, but then the second level has you on a train on a murder mystery, or like then all of a sudden you're leading through like a parade in that level, or the third level has you in a haunted house and you're being chased by this ghostly being. It mixes up the gameplay. I think it differentiates itself enough from like other 3D platformers in that way.
Yeah, it's just the variety of stuff you do in this game that I just love it. It's just got something for everybody, I feel like. And there's future content that we can expect, like multiplayer, and I think there's 2 more chapters they can expect. So I don't know, there's a lot to this game. Like, it's short, but there's also a lot packed in there, and there's even more to come. So
each level has like, it changes up enough times as well, so it isn't just the same level you're replaying again and again. It's sort of very Mario Sunshine-esque, where it's kind of linear in the way that you progress through each chapter, and then you'll go into one level and it's covered in lava.
Yeah, I enjoy that, but that's also kind of a thing I don't like about it, that there's certain timepieces that you can only get in certain missions. I like the kind of Super Mario 64 approach where you can just get you have free reign.
What have you got as your number 2 game then, Jack?
Persona 5. I don't know if you play Persona 5 or any Persona game, but oh my god, you need to play at least Persona 5. It's so good. So the thing about Persona 5 is it's crazy what this game has done for the series, because before Persona 5, the Persona series was kind of like this niche series that only like, anime fans, weeaboos, I guess if you want to call them that, only heard of and enjoyed. But now like Persona 5 was in the Game Awards with Mario and Zelda like for Game of the Year. That's crazy. This game's crazy.
Is this a game that you were looking forward to playing? Like, are you a fan of Persona games beforehand?
Yes, I was a huge Persona 4 fan, and we were originally promised the game winter 2014, and that's become kind of like a meme in the fan base, because they were like, yep, it's coming, winter 2014. Winter 2014 came, and we got no Persona 5. So I've been waiting for this game for years, and it finally came out in April, and it did not disappoint. It like exceeded my expectations. It's got so much style. It's got an amazing story. The combat is so, I feel like even if you don't like turn-based games, this gameplay you can still enjoy it. It's so fast-paced and it's so good.
I played a bit of 4, and there's something about the menus. Also, did you play Tokyo Mirage Sessions last year? That was a game that, again, from Atlas, had like these amazing UI. The menus are just gorgeous to look at, and just like they're animated so well. And from what I've seen of Persona 5, it just like takes that and runs with it.
Wouldn't be surprised if they spent multiple years trying to nail down that menu style and those color schemes and just the way it all flows beautifully together. This game deserves all the love it gets. Even if you don't think you'll like it, I recommend giving it a try. It will surprise you. I remember when Persona 5 came out, it was super stressful for me because I still hadn't finished Zelda. So I was like trying to rush and finish Zelda so I wouldn't have like 2 big games going at once. And there was just so much coming out around that time.
Okay then, Jack, what have you put down as your favorite game of 2017?
If you know me, I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I always have been. So my number 1 is no surprise. It's Super Mario Odyssey. I really didn't want to put it as my number 1 because I feel like it's generic to do. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be just so predictable. But there's no way I couldn't.
I'll lead off with a question of what is your favorite level?
My favorite level is a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it, but it's the last one after you beat the story. It's the one world that I don't want to spoil for anybody because it's done so beautifully. It's done so perfectly.
Gonna dance around this, I guess, but like that moment when you discover that level, it's just like my whole heart just stopped. I'm like, no way, No way!
Wait, did you discover it in the Luncheon Kingdom, like, early? Or
Yes.
did you only see it when you finished the game?
Okay, I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to have a spoiler warning on there. I'm not going to have any video spoilers, so you can click the mute, and I'll get rid of the spoiler sign when we stop talking about the spoilers. But
right.
yes, I was in the Luncheon Kingdom, and I saw the portrait at the back, and I thought I'd already discovered the portraits in previous levels, and I thought you could see Peach's castle, and I was like, no way, no fucking way. And I jumped in there, and then it puts you at the top where Yoshi's Island, at the top where his house is, and you're overlooking it. I'm like, oh, that sucks that you can't actually go to the level, but it's kind of cool just to look at it from here. Oh, right there, fine. Didn't really think much of it. Then when you beat the game, come up with a little note saying you can now go to the Mushroom Kingdom. I was like, what the fuck? No way. And then yeah, when you go there, it's just, I mean, I'll let you say it because this is your pick, I guess, but like that whole world was just like fucking awesome.
See, it's the opposite for me. I actually missed that painting, so I had no idea that was going to be a world in the game. And then I beat the game, and it's like, here's the Mushroom Kingdom. And I'm like, oh my god, really? See, nostalgia can be very annoying if they just shoehorn it in there and they just shove it in your face. But the Mushroom Kingdom level at the end has just the right amount where it doesn't feel like overbearing, and it's just the right amount. And I love it. It's so well done.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we'll finish on the spoilers there. What other sort of favourite moments have you got in the game without going too spoilery?
Definitely the Metro Kingdom, of course. I mean, I feel like that's one of the best kingdoms in the game. God, there's just so much to this game. I don't know. Yeah, like you can finish the main quest in probably like a couple hours if you know what you're doing. But there's just so much more to the game than just that.
It's been a joy from beginning to end for me. This has been the game where I just had a smile on my face the entire time. Like, I love Breath of the Wild, right? I'm not going to spoil what position I'm putting it on my list or anything, but Breath of the Wild had some frustrations for me. Super Mario Odyssey, I didn't have any problem. Like, the entire time, I had a huge beaming smile on my face from beginning to end.
Honestly, I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I ended up enjoying it. When Breath of the Wild came out, I was like, wow, this game is huge. If Nintendo does like this scope of a game for Mario, like, we can kiss humanity goodbye. We're not gonna have any free time anymore. And it's amazing that we got 2 games of that scope in the same year.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear these top 5s this year so far, because there's so much a variety of different great games in general, but like the 2 that I think that are going to be consistently popping up in everyone's list is Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if those 2 games weren't included. Both of those games weren't included on anybody's list.
All right then, Jack, guess that about wraps it up. Thank you once again for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. I will say this year was very stressful for me because there's way more than 5 games that came out this year that I really enjoyed. Like, I wanted to include Metroid, I wanted to include ARMS, for example, Splatoon 2, but there's just so much that came out this year. There were no droughts, and yeah, it was super hard to narrow it down to 5 this year.
Yeah, definitely. Did you want to plug your stuff, like your YouTube channels, Twitter, Twitch, and whatnot?
Yeah, so my name's Jack, like we said at the beginning of this video. I run a channel called Jakstalgia where I just talk about stuff that makes me feel nostalgic and whatever interests me at the moment. I also run a Let's Play channel. We kind of have a niche going on where me and a friend of mine play a bunch of licensed games, like a bunch of SpongeBob games and stuff, and we laugh at how bad they are and have a good time. I also stream on Twitch, and I have a Twitter. Just type Jakstalgia into Google and you can probably find me.
Awesome. Okay, well, I guess until next year, Jack. I don't know if you've got many games you're looking out for in 2018, but we'll probably hear about it hopefully then as well.
Kirby. Oh my god, I'm so excited for Kirby. But we'll talk about that next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having me.